What did you say?
I said there was no way that we could compete with the person that Myles was.
Mm-hmm.
Myles was a person all to his. He was a saint. If there ever was one that walked this earth, Myles was a saint.
Mm-hmm.
He never talked about nobody. He'd say, well, they did the best they knew how. That's what he'd tell me about my daddy. And my daddy was a bulldog.
Mm-hmm.
Bully. A bully is exactly what he was. But it took me forever to realize why he was a bully. He was a runt of the family. He was the oldest in, in, in his family. And I reckon, thought he had to be a bully to survive.
Who?
Paul, my daddy.
Oh.
And but anyway, we knew to jump when he said jump, and no questions asked. He was always right, and all that stuff. But 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 I've come to think that he had to be a bully, I guess, in order to survive. He was the little one in the crowd. He's a, his brothers and sisters was head and shoulders taller than he was.
Mm.
And so I decided that it was time I quit putting him down because he did, I guess, the best he knew how to survive. And so I finally, you know, got rid of that drag on my shoulders. And boy, I've got rid of a lot of them the last day or two here.
Mm-hmm.
Just going over it all. And really, I think it all happened. Everything happens for a reason. But I want this family, the one I leave behind, to get along with each other, visit each other, talk to each other. I've enjoyed talking to you more than I've ever thought about.
Mm-hmm.
But, and there's little Sean coming along. I feel so sorry for him. But he's a go out there and get her, and he's going to be a farmer. Have you noticed them little plants he's planted around and so forth?
Yeah.
In cups?
Yeah.
He's got one that's that long in there on the microwave that he planted in the cup and grew. And he likes to get out there and dig in the dirt. And you know what? These two out here at the corner of the house where this downspout comes out at the, you know. I was sitting out there in the swing one day with you a long time ago, and you was sitting out on that little mound that goes down the yard,
Mm-hmm.
and you was talking to the clouds. You was talking up a storm to the clouds. I just sit there and listen to you mumble. I didn't know what you was saying. And I thought, I wonder what he's just thinking about. But he was picking out animals in the clouds. You was that day. And I thought, well, that boy's got plenty and plenty of sense. If you just give yourself time to watch a little child, he can tell you a lot. Mm-hmm. And Sean can do that. But nobody's got time anymore to listen. But you see, I sit in there in that chair, and he'll be playing there on the floor, and all of a sudden he'll put him down and come stand by my chair and, Memo, did you know so-and-so? And I said, no, I didn't. And I asked him why, and he said, I ain't supposed to talk about it. And I said, well, don't talk to me about it then. Don't tell me about it. And he didn't. But that's how Sean's little man works. And one day I come in the house, went to the bedroom, this bedroom here, and he was laying on the foot of the bed, just propped over on the bed, and the biggest old tears in his eyes. He hadn't said a word, moved, or nothing. And I said, Sean, sweetheart, what's the matter? He said, I'm just so sad. I wanted to cry. And I said, well, just go ahead and cry. I want to cry sometimes myself. And, but Sean's a smart little boy. He is a smart little boy. And they decided after they fed him that old pill for hyper, that he was not a hyper child. They'd been giving him that old pill just because the doctor and the school teacher said he needed. And so I reckon they finally quit giving him that, but he's taking allergy medicine. And Lordy mercy, he's took enough of it to drown a ship. But if you don't do what the doctors tell you to do, then you're in trouble. And if you don't, you're in trouble. So, what do you know? You don't. You just do the best you can.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've really always tried to do, was the best I knew how to do. And we had a preacher at the church, and he was at homecoming this year, and I went, and because he's one of our long time ago preachers, and he preached a sermon about me and Myles, and it took me forever sitting there to catch on to what he was doing, but I thought, well, he looks like he's preaching to me. And Dolores Clifford was sitting beside me. You remember Dolores and her kids. And every once in a while she'd tell me what he was saying. And but he was telling me about coming to visit Myles. And he was one of them that made popcorn visits, popped in and popped out. And I really liked him. And but anyway, he kept looking at me when he was preaching, and I thought, oh, what in the world is he doing? And he was telling about visiting Myles, and he did real often, because he didn't have anything else to do. And he'd come and just stay a few minutes, and then he was gone, or he'd bring you a pot of pinto beans. One time he did. He had to go somewhere, and he turned them off and forgot to turn them back on when he come back in. And they weren't half done when he brought it over to me. But that was okay with me. I just put them back on the stove and cooked them till they was.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he said, he asked Myles what he thought I would do once he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I ain't worried about her. Said, she's going to do what she has to do to survive. Said, I'm not worried at all about her. She will do what she has to do. And when I'd asked him, you don't know the times. He sat in there in that chair, smothering so bad he couldn't breathe. And you don't know what it is to see someone you really, really love smother to death. But anyway, I'd get up and stand there and look up the hall to see if his stomach was moving when he breathed, to know that he was still alive. And get back in bed and go back to sleep. but it was hard. But I didn't know. I didn't know what all this meant to you. You didn't know what was going to happen to you when the daddy you called man you called daddy was no longer here, and you didn't know where to start, and that was the big part of your problem, and I didn't have sense enough to know that you was hurting as bad as I was. But I'm over that now. I feel better this morning than I felt in 2 or 3 days. I've been dizzy and dawdly, afraid I was going to fall. But I feel good this morning. But one thing I never wanted to do was make Barbara mad at me, because when she gets mad at you, and I ain't talking about her, I love Barbara. She's been better to me really than Diane has. Diane just thought, well, all she can talk about is Barbara. So I'll just let Barbara take care of her. And it was Catherine talking and Barbara. But I never wanted to make Barbara mad at me, because I knew if she ever got mad at me, she'd be mad at me forever. She would never let loose. But me and hers had a few tough spats, but not many. Not like most people do, like Stacy and them do, fight all the time. I don't think Stacy did anything really but take advantage of me, because I felt sorry for her, but that's all.
And I told you never to give her any money.
Huh?
I told you never to give her anything.
Well, I did. I gave her money, loaned her money, and helped her buy cars and do all this stuff, thinking, and Joey would tell me, said, you're just wasting your money and time. Said, you have them out one time, and then they come back for more and come back for more. And one day I did. I decided she was taking advantage of me, telling me sad tales, and the little old boys would say, Mama, I'm hungry. You never know how that hurt me when them little boys looked up at me and said, Mama, I'm hungry. I'd have done anything to keep them from being hungry. And they knew their mama loved them. One time little Jackson was always a special little boy. And he said, Mama, it's Christmas.
Yeah.
He said, what's wrong with you? He said, Mommy said we couldn't jump on you when we come over here.
Mm-hmm.
Jump in my lap and so forth.
Yeah.
And I said, well, sugar, I just can't get around good. And he took my hand and patted it. He said, I'll help you. And I just bawled. That was the sweetest little boy. She said, I'll help you, Grandma. And so I knew those little boys, and it makes me so sad. But I know it's better. I know it's better. And it'll all work out. And maybe one of these days you'll have a chance to reconnect with them, at least to let them know who you are.
Yeah.
Now, I always told you who you was, and I always told you your mother loved you. I knew she loved you. She came every time she had a chance to come. and play with you out there, and you just thought she was a big girl like Diana over there across the fence that you hollered at all the time. I can still hear you hollering, Diana.
Deanna.
Deanna, yeah, Deanna. And I always remember Deanna as a little lonely girl herself. Took up with a little lonely boy like you. So you just never know what's in the works. Just take it as it comes, I guess. But it's hard. But getting back to the preacher down there. He was preaching at a homecoming now, and was talking more to me than he was anybody else. And I had to ask Dolores what he was saying because I couldn't half hear. And she said, well, he's talking about what Myles told him when he go up there to see Myles. He asked him questions about me and so forth. Said Myles said he wasn't worried about me and what I was going to do. I'd do what had to be done. And he wasn't worried about that. But it was hard to take over and do as well as I done. I guess I thought I'd done a pretty good job, but the kids look like I turned the ball away for you. And you was a special child to me. Myles, you made Myles' last days happy. Because he played with you and had you dancing for him to clap to you and all that stuff. You made him happy. But when he died, I don't think I even realized what it did for you and what you had to think of. You came in here one night and when he had to go to hospital, you come in here and sleep with me. And when I was here, and one day you come in here and got back in bed with me and said, I just now remember why Daddy died. And I said, why? He said his pacemaker batteries went dead. Now, for a little boy, that was kind of smart, I thought. And I said, no, Sean, that wasn't what, Charles, that wasn't what happened. I said, it was just time for him to go. And you went on back in there and got back in bed, and directly you come back in here and said, well, I know why he died. His pacemaker batteries run down. So you were still thinking, for a little boy, you were still thinking about things. And that's the way Sean is. Sean is such a special little fella. Mischievous as all get out, but he's the other night in there, he just laying in there just making this noise about it. It just kills me to hear him beg to them to do things, and them just not paying attention to him. But he was making this silly noise, and he was trying to make her laugh. But she was so tired and wore out that she weren't about to give in to him. But he was really trying to entertain her that night, to make her happy, to make her laugh. But he loves her better than anything. You can ask him who he loves the most, and he said, Grandma. Grandma, I love Papa and I love everybody else. But Grandma, it's a whole lot more. And he worships the ground she walks on. And he flies mad and gets a stubborn streak and gets in trouble. But he's still that special little boy. And he can be playing with his blocks and things, and he'll think of something he wants to tell me, but he'll say, but I'm not supposed to talk about it. And I said, well, don't tell me about it if you're not supposed to talk about it. I didn't want to know. But you never know what's going through a little kid's mind, especially a little smart boy. Get over here and get that picture out of the box over there so I can see it one more time. And point Bobby, Joy, Charles, David out to you. David in that picture looks like he might have been cut out to be a Donald Trump. Who knows? Who knows what David could do if he opened his mind to do it. And that's another thing I'll carry around forever. But at least it'll keep my mind busy. And I'm thinking I've been eating to get something to eat. Wonder what we got this morning.
I'll go make you something to eat.
Cereal. Or an egg sandwich or whatever. Just anything. But I am getting hungry.
I can bring it to you in here.
No, I'll come in there. I want to go in there.
They're busy in there.
Huh?
They're busy in there working on that bathroom.
Yeah. Well, I'll sit over there in the corner and be quiet as I can. But I never wanted this room all by myself. I wanted to be with my dream of being an old woman was to be with Myles and the grandkids. A yard full of grandkids. Henry used to tell me, you don't look natural without a child on your hip carrying it around. Because I babysat for 26 years, every day. It was Saturday and Sunday. But I loved every minute of it. I loved those little old babies I kept. Courtney and Will and the ones that I kept so long. They still think of me as their mama. And Courtney's got two little boys now. my fondest wish is just that this little family of mine get along with each other enough to visit and see each other every once in a while. Talk about each other. You know, they never. I always told them about you, but I didn't. I didn't realize that they just thought you was a renegade, and they treated you like a dog. I ain't done nothing but fight for you all my life, and I guess I go on doing it because that's just me. It's just me, and I can't help it. But I never wanted to make Barbara mad at me. I never. I knew if she did. When she got mad at Stacy, she cut her off. All them nice clothes Charles had, she just gave them to somebody else and didn't let them little boys have them. I said, now, Barbara, they can't help what her mama did. Well, she ain't getting them. So I just hushed. She told me to shut my big mouth, and David and Charles, my Joy and Bobby was going to call her and blow her. And I said, no, you're not. I said, if I get mad enough, I can tell them off myself. I said, but you're not going to do no such as that, Joy. I said, you've got two little girls to think about. And sort of calmed him down.